What I would say to aspiring artists or whether you're an actor, creator, or whatever, don't wait for somebody else to validate what vision has come to you or was put on your heart because it's come to you and is put on your heart because you're the vessel to bring it through. You have the ability to bring it through.
Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for tuning in for another episode of The Rundown with Jordan Brown. I'm here with a very special guest today, Karimah Westbrook. Karimah, thank you so much for taking the time to speak with me today.
Oh, thank you for having me. No problem. Thank you for having me.
Yes, so I'm really excited for our conversation to touch on a lot of things like the years that you spent on All American and the latest project that you just released on Tubi. But before I get into that, I want to give a little bit of rundown of like who you are, all the things that you've done in your career so far. And yeah, I'll just go and get started. So Karimah is a Chicago native, born and raised. She made her television debut back in 2000 and her role on the CW series All American, she played Grace James, the mother of Spencer James, like the protagonist in the show. And the show is wrapping up 8 seasons this year, which is incredible feat. As the show like closes that chapter, we're seeing Karima step into a new one. She just released a psychological drama on Tubi called Dream House, which centers on a mysterious vacation rental rumored to answer guests' most pressing life questions through their dreams. So, again, wanted to get into your career, 26 years of being in the television and film industry. I first wanted to start asking my first question for you. What would you say is something that inspires both you and the things that you do and the work that you create?
What inspires me? I think understanding or experiencing the power of movies and stories, how a lot of things that I've seen growing up and even now, how it impacts me um, emotionally, mentally. I see the real like power in value in it. So it inspires me to tell stories. And I think it leads back to humanity, um, giving something back in a way that either it entertains, uplifts, inspires, teaches. Um, so I guess ultimately when I think about it, I see how impactful media is on people, and I feel like it inspires me to say, oh, I that's could be a way that I could play a part of giving back to people,
Mhm.
um, and creating something in a positive way too, where it can make them feel good when a lot of times, everyone's going through something.
Mhm.
So I've just found that I guess deeply, yeah, I think that's what it inspires me, the power of art.
And in terms of being able to create something that people can take away from, like when they see your work, I wanted to touch on like the closing of a chapter a little bit. Like we're seeing All American come to a close, saying goodbye to Grace James, but now we're seeing you, Karimah Westbrook, transition into your filmmaker position and creating productions like Dream House. What has it been like for you closing that chapter of All American and stepping into a new path, if you will?
Um, it's exciting. I think initially it was sad because it's just like the ending of something that, we were together. I mean, I was on the show for 6 seasons
Mhm.
and, it was, you know, it's going to come to an end at some point. So that was sad, but it's exciting because I feel like that was a stepping stone to the next phase of my life. So I can look back and see how it was all relative. Everything that I've experienced, everything that I learned, I mean, I'm able to apply it now as I move forward. So, I mean, it's good. Yeah,
Yeah. And I know in some of the later seasons, like maybe season 5, season 6, you even directed some episodes. That's correct?
I did. I directed 2 episodes. out of all the seasons, season 5 and season 7. So I got a chance to work with the new cast, and they
Okay.
were so lovely. Yeah,
Mhm.
it's season 7. So yeah, I did.
So, how would you say that that kind of guided you for when you decided to take this leap in creating Dream House, like you being the creator and executive producer? What would you say that you took away from those experiences, those episodes directing All American and applying it to Dream House?
Everything. I took everything that I learned from directing the episode on All American,
Mhm.
and I applied it to my approach to Dream House. Before I directed an episode of All American, I had directed a short concept film. That was like my first intro to directing, which is how I actually learned that I really liked it. And it was something that I wanted to learn more about, and went to school to learn more about the craft, because it really is much more of a craft than I ever even knew. And but as far as the logistics of how to like run the process of like a show, um organization wise, working on All American as a director, that was very beneficial to like creating a system.
Mhm.
uh, as my mom would say, it's all about systems. Create a system and a process to Dream House to have us, function smoothly, you
Mhm.
know. Yeah, which we did,
Yeah. And
kind
I
of.
know like the background of creating the systems and the process that goes into it. Like for those watching, they might not have like any idea all of the hours and time that really goes into it. So
Yeah.
can you take us through the process of how you formulated the idea, the execution of like casting, filming, producing, editing? Can you just give us like a walkthrough of what all that's like?
Whew. Well, it is a lot, but I actually like it. I thought it was very fulfilling, in the sense that it's a lot of moving pieces, and I love puzzles. So for me, it was trying to figure out a lot of things in a short amount of time. So this whole process came about. I was in a directing mentorship program.
Okay.
After the program, I've always been a person of like, I got to create my own opportunities, while I wait for someone to hire me. I've even had the attitude as an actor. I would like write, let me figure out what I can write for myself.
Mhm.
And when I finished the directing program, directing is fairly new for me. I was like, well, I'm thankful that All American hired me, but how else am I going to get work? This is a completely different landscape for me. So I'm like,
Mhm.
I'm going to create my own opportunity. So I reached out to some of the directors in the directing program and said, hey, do you guys want to shoot something, like this summer? I want to produce like a web series. And people were on board. We got together, we would like brainstorm, talk about different ideas and stuff like that. And we ended up being like three other directors and myself. They directed three of the episodes. I directed three. And so that's how it kind of came about. The other three directors is Courtney Miller, Anitra Stevens, and Leon Lorenzo.
Okay.
Lozano, excuse me, Lozano. He would kill me if he saw this. But yeah, they were great. And so, but we're all like emerging directors. And so, our whole thing was like, well, my whole thing is like, we got to create our own opportunities in order to, for me, I'm thinking of it, this would be a calling card for me to generate more work. And the process of like hiring, bringing people on,
Mhm.
I know a lot of people in the industry. So I reached out to friends to say, hey, could you come on board? Are you available to, do this and do that? And
Mhm.
just hiring all the moving pieces, the producers, the cinematographer, um, and then with television, it's a little different than film. I think film is a much slower process. With Dreamhouse, we shot we consider each piece of episode,
Mhm.
even though they're short. We had 12 hours to shoot each episode.
Okay.
So I approached it like with TV, we would have meetings with the different departments. So it'll be like the hair department, the wardrobe department, and we did that for each director. And it was very organized, it was very streamlined. We went to look at the location. We, scouted. I looked at several locations, was able to secure one, had it dress work, found a production designer, Catherine Pryor. She was at fantastic production design. Went through, looked at different looks that I thought will look good. Like what was the feel that I was going for? Looking at different magazines, different photos, different movies, different. So it was a lot of work, but I worked with each department because each story was different, and each director also met with each department to um, communicate what they wanted for their particular episode. Um, I was producing, so I definitely had to make sure we could afford a lot of things that we wanted, and if it was doable. And so after meeting with all the departments, we shot it. We had hired a casting director, Natasha Ward, which was great. She brought on a lot of great talent. I mean, people auditioned. We watched the auditions. We would send auditions to each other. Hey, what do you think of this person? The host was a hard role because there was another guy who was really good, but I really love Kelsey Watson, which was the actor that we hired. He was I thought that he was perfect. I had an idea in mind of the tone of the show, how I would like it to feel. And I thought that he was perfect. So it was a lot of collaborating with that. But yeah, people, sent in their audition tapes and we watched it. And it was some back and forth with like, what do you think? I think this person, and then I called favors, people that I knew, like Chelsea from All American. I reached out to her like, hey, the director really wanted to work with her. I was like, I could call her. Same with Rolando Boyce. I knew him as well. And so that was that. And then we had rehearsals. I mean, I think Leon rehearsed with his actors. I didn't have rehearsal with my actors, I don't think. Um, and then we got there, everything was, set up. We had the wardrobe, makeup, actors came in, and, and we finished. We didn't go over 12 hours days. We had, lunch. It was very professional. It was great location. Um, and then we get to, that was great. Then we go to post-production, like after all of that. And
Mhm.
each episode was edited. We had a great editor, Jackson Stuckey. He
Mhm.
was fantastic. And each director met with him, everybody went through their cuts. I came in afterwards, went through everybody cuts. Um, then after that, we have the sound designer, Justin did a fantastic job as well. Then I had to find a composer to do the music and the music. Then I had to find a colorist to color it.
Mhm.
Uh, and so it was a lot of moving parts. And I shot that in November of 2024. It took
Okay.
six days to shoot that. And I think we were like done, complete, probably July or August of 2025, maybe. So yeah. And then I think that's kind of like there's ins and outs and stuff with the post production as far as like all the they're not little, but all the things that it's entailed with that. But that was kind of like the general steps in it. And then you master the project and then it's complete. And then you say, okay, well, I'm like, now what? I don't want to just go straight to like YouTube, although YouTube has YouTube movies and TV, which is a very, you know, real thing and a good thing. I just had to figure out like where could I go, where could I have this stream? Because my whole hope and intention behind this was to create something to help create more opportunities for me to direct or to continue to create
Mhm.
something and then being able to support myself doing it too because it's like that's what's so great about this time too for creators. You can literally create something and that thing be able is something that could help you support yourself, but
Mhm.
also you can continue to be creative,
Yeah.
which is ideal. You want to be able to continue to do the thing that you love to do. And, when I was coming up as an actor, having all these odd jobs, we didn't have like Lyft and Uber and DoorDash and Uber Eats, where that provides a lot more flexibility. A lot of times we had like temp agencies, and you got to audition, you trying to get out of the, I can't come in today, I'm not feeling all these things. So it's kind of like, it's great now that, we have the internet. I mean, there's pros and cons, but we have, streaming and YouTube and all these different platforms now
Mhm.
where you can really create something and position yourself to be able to continue to do what you love and also profit from it.
Mhm.
So that's kind of like the goal with it. And also wanting to tell really interesting stories too.
Yeah. Yeah, I really think Dream House alone, like I really enjoyed the film. For those who haven't seen it, I definitely recommend. But before I get into Dream House, you said something that like really resonated with me, and I think it would resonate with a lot of people too. Creating your own opportunity if there isn't exactly like an open door for you or just like not exactly your turn yet. Do you have any advice or something that you maybe wish you would have told yourself back then when you were like weighing your options on how you could create the opportunity and the best way to go about that for someone who's in a place of not sure how to direct it?
I would say go for it. For sure, go for it. I think about what advice I would give myself is that is to go for it. I mean, I was going for it, but I had a lot of fears too. I remember I created this web series before they even call web series. This was like a long time ago. Me and my friends, I mean, I came up with another concept, and I was like, how could I film this? Because in the script, it was something that took place at an award show, right? So I'm like, there's no way I could, show an award show. But there was an award show that was taking place, like a theater award show, and I convinced my friends. I'm like, let's go crash this award show. Let's like shoot this while the award show is actually happening, and
Mhm.
we did it, right? And we got like this cool little story. And I created this whole little series. And I remember at the time, gave it to my manager at the time.
Mhm.
And they kind of was like, I remember they said, you're so ambitious, but they didn't really, I guess maybe, okay. So maybe they didn't know what to do with it, but I feel like, they said something where it was kind of like, they shot it down. Okay, maybe it wasn't the best quality, but I just feel like that I did not go any further with that show. I mean, that could have been something I could have just put on YouTube. I could have that could have been the start of something.
Mhm.
So versus looking for someone else to validate, what I'm doing in order for me to be like, okay, well, it's okay to do it or it's a go. I feel like the advice I would give my younger self is not to wait to be validated on something that God has placed on my heart or what has come to me creatively and that I was able to do. Like literally, me and my friends, we shot like a whole episode around this award show that they didn't even know that we were filming while all like the red carpet is happening. We're having like a whole scene. I have two friends who were like cameramen. We like shot this whole thing.
Mhm.
And technically, to me, it's not terrible. It actually got into like this little festival back then. And I
Oh.
remember people were like cracking up laughing, but I feel like I did not put any more energy behind it because a person that I really looked up to that was like high up in the industry, they didn't give me that validation or that go, or they didn't have the same excitement
Okay.
behind it.
Mhm.
So for whatever reason back then, this was many years ago, uh I actually did not move forward with it. That actually has happened when now hindsight thinking about it, that actually has happened with a couple of things. Like there's a book that I wrote, and I had gotten to this big debate with someone about the subject matter, and I never published a book, right? So what I would say to aspiring artists or whether you're an actor, creator, or whatever, don't wait for somebody else to validate what vision has come to you or was put on your heart, because it's come to you and is put on your heart because you're the vessel to bring it through. You have the ability to bring it through. And I think, just like really kind of reflecting back, I wish I wouldn't have done that. I maybe things would have been different. Maybe something would have happened with my little show. It was called Almost Famous. And it was so funny when I think about it, how much stuff I really shot. And I did not do anything beyond the first episode because somebody else didn't validate it. Somebody that I really respected didn't validate it. So I would say don't fall into that trap. And I would say just go for it, because you never know what may come of whatever it is that's placed on your heart to do.
Mhm.
And I think a lot of times it's placed on your heart to do it because you are fully capable and you are a vessel to bring it about.
Mhm.
So just trust yourself, trust your instincts. And, now the landscape has changed so much, and it really is a game that anybody could play at this point. So I would say go for it.
Yeah. And I know a lot of your fans are glad that you went for it and were able to produce Dream House. I wanted to get back into that a little bit. For those who haven't seen the psychological drama, what is something that you think viewers should anticipate, like good things to look for, and what should they expect out of the movie?
What should they expect? I, you know what? I don't know. That's kind of hard to. I would say maybe as being entertained is subjective, right? I can say, oh, you can expect to be entertained, and somebody might fall asleep on it. I don't know. But I think it's thought provoking. I think that if nothing else, it'll have you thinking.
Mhm.
And that's kind of based off of the feedback. But something with around dreams is an interesting topic, because there's some people who believe in it. There's some people believe that their dreams are communicating something to them. And then there's some people that's like, no, that's just like whatever was going on you had going on that day, whatever you fell asleep, you watching TV, so people have a lot of different beliefs around dreams. So I think it's an interesting um, topic.
Mhm.
And I think that it'll give you something to think about, if nothing else, no matter what side of the aisle that you fall on in regards to your thoughts about dreams.
Mhm.
Mhm.
And without giving too much of like the plot away in the episodes, were any of the dreams inspired by like any real life experiences or stories that you've heard from people?
Um, yes. Yes, for sure.
Okay. Okay. I
Yeah.
don't want to give too much
Yeah,
away. Give people the
yeah,
chance to watch it.
yeah. Yes, yes.
Awesome, awesome. And lastly, like before I wrap things up, I wanted to know, like, as viewers that have been following you, like since season one of All American and continue on to watch Dream House, what is something that viewers can expect from you going forward and look forward to, like, as you fully step into this next chapter?
Viewers could expect more projects from me. I plan on continuing to create um, projects, whether it's directing or producing. I just think directing is so fascinating. It's a craft that just was not even on my radar. And now that I've had a chance to experience it and really seeing how scientific it actually really is, I'm so drawn to it. So I think that, viewers could look forward to seeing more creative projects from me, for sure, for sure. Now,
Awesome.
whether it's film or TV, I have several projects like in different stages of development. So I don't know what's going to happen first, but for sure, I find that is my passion. So
Mhm.
I look forward to continuing to create, for sure.
Awesome.
Storytell.
Yeah. That's the perfect way to tell a story.
Yeah.
Well, Karima, thank you so much for taking the time to speak with me and joining us for this latest episode of The Rundown with Jordan Brown. I really appreciate you taking the time, and this was such a great conversation.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. It was a pleasure meeting you and just good luck with everything.
Thank you. Thank you.